Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Imagine a lady who gets free food from a charity organization, then complains about it, and then claims Jesus was a vegan. After a short pause, we'll get to the story. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Entitled Karen insults my dad working at a charity. This is my dad's story, and this happened earlier this week. My dad's a great and helpful guy. He volunteers at a charity once a week to have a few hours to himself whilst I look after my mother. On to the story. My dad was helping at the charity. There was camera crews for the news in the local area. This is important. Due to all the noise of the camera and working in a building, my dad was approached by a woman. He only described her to be in her 40s. The lady walks to my dad and says, "Can I have something vegan?" Now, due to the noise, my dad heard vegetarian. He quickly grabs the items that were suited for vegetarians and gave the bag to her. The lady thanks my dad and leaves after receiving her bag. After the charity started closing up for the night and some of the charity workers, including my dad, were chatting outside, the lady returns to berate him for giving her vegetarian food, not vegan. Some of the conversation that happened is from what my dad said. Dad: "I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I misheard." Lady: "I'm a Christian." Dad: "I'm also a Christian." Lady: "Don't talk to me. You're insulting my family. In the Bible, the Garden of Eden is vegan. Jesus is vegan." My dad didn't answer, pretty much complied with her request, but he did look up that it was false. After she had a go at my dad, she had a go at the charity's owner. The owner doesn't take any nonsense and immediately bans the lady from getting food again. When he spoke to a few of us the next day about it, I said, "You now have had an experience with a Karen." And our second story. Always drop whatever you're doing to help a customer, no matter what. You got it. Many years ago, my first job was working at a Safeway. For those who don't know, Safeway is a large supermarket chain in North America that's trying to make its stores look nice and have its employees be 100% butt kissers. For example, we were utterly banned from having any facial hair whatsoever to give the illusion of being meek, baby-faced, unthreatening worker bees. The malicious compliance comes from another rule. We absolutely 100% had to drop whatever we were doing if a customer wanted our help, had to walk them to what they were looking for, and not leave their side until they were 100% satisfied with the customer service helping them out. I was working in the dairy section. Other than produce, this was the only section in the store that got stocked regularly during the day because of how much it went through. Our dairy came stacked on pallets about 8 feet high, and I just brought 2 pallets out to get ready. Anyone sensible would bring one at a time, but our only power jack was always commandeered, and we were told just to bring out everything at once. About as soon as I dropped my second pallet off and handed off to someone else, I got a feeling of dread, that dark pit in your stomach when you know something is horribly wrong. Then I saw him. At our store, we had this old man come in once a week and make everyone who came across him GD miserable. He was obviously suffering from some serious mental issues, but I don't give him any credit because he was a complete a-hole to everyone, and nobody had a shred of sympathy for this geriatric craphead. And here he was, coming for me again. He tells me he can't find canned carrots, the same item he comes in every week looking for, yet we've never carried, except he got it here last week, and salt-free buns. Okay, whatever. Here's where the malicious compliance comes in, because I hate this effing job. I have 2 pallets of dairy sitting out, and I have to go help this old guy who shuffles along slower than a gimp turtle. So at about 10 o'clock, off we go to the canned vegetable aisle. Lo and behold, we can't find canned carrots, just like the other 4 times I've walked Grandpa over to the section and they were never there. Now he's getting angry because he's an old a-hole with whatever problems he has. I pretty much ignored his accusations of hiding crap on him because I'm entirely done with him and this store. Next, salt-free buns. About 10:30, we're on our way to the bakery section on the other side of the store. We're looking at the ingredients lists on the bun bags, and shockingly, everything has salt in them. He's not having this crap, so he goes and starts berating the only baker on staff. He knows he can't talk back to this old a-hole, but he gives me the most unequivocal, what the F is this crap look as he's dealing with the guy. And of course, we don't find him any salt-free buns because as far as I know, buns always have salt in them. Or at least Safeways do. Now he's right PO'd and he's going to customer service. At about 11 o'clock, we've left the bakery and go to the desk where this a-hole is on a tirade about how this store isn't accommodating him and nobody's useful, blah, blah, blah. In typical retail service spirit, I actually get in trouble for not being able to help the guy find something we don't carry because crap rolls downhill. I didn't take this personally and I didn't give a crap because I expect it and know better. I pretty much just shrugged and left when the whole crap show was done. Angry old man had his wife called in like usual to pick him up and deal with him, and I went back to my pallets. Now, I left at 10 o'clock and I didn't get back until about 11:30. Store policy was every 15 minutes that dairy is out is a day off of its shelf life. Well, that's some easy math there. Since it would take me about 30 minutes to get it all done, that'd be this stuff sitting out on a warm floor for 2 hours. No bueno, gotta throw that crap out now. The entire day's dairy restock was thrown out because of me having to assist this old a-hole. As punishment, I was put on night shift. As the only person with any level of competence on night shift, I was the lead. I quit not long after, but I made sure on my quitting night it was after a day that the store got hammered and we were super low stock. I just didn't do anything the whole night and didn't make an order for the next night, meaning their shelves were going to be bare. F you, Safeway. And our last story. Entitled mother keeps destroying my wife's flowers, goes to jail. At the time of these events, we live in a nice house on a cul-de-sac up on the hill with a great view of the valley and the lake. Our property is long and narrow. It's about twice as long as any other lot on the street, but instead of a big backyard, it has a really long side yard that extends from the driveway to the corner of the cul-de-sac with the main road. It's mostly grass, but there's a cluster of scrub oak and a flower garden that takes up the last 12 to 15 feet of it. And beyond that is the side of the next house down the hill on the main road. You can see their driveway and backyard from the middle of the scrub oak cluster. This is all important. The reason it's important is because these neighbors have chickens and a rooster. When we moved in, there were a lot of failed flowering plants on the property. The only non-weed growing in abundance in this side yard flower garden were iris. I swear, you can grow an iris anywhere. But they're not the longest-lived flowers in the world. My wife had great plans for this space, but she knew she needed to start with some small plants, and as they grew, the rest of the plans could develop. She started with some annuals that could start to reclaim the land from the weeds and some ground covers that, as they progressed, would help choke out the unwanted grasses. She knew it'd take some time, but she'd done it all before. It would eventually involve peonies, hibiscus, clematis, crocus, tulips, hostas, marigold, and petunias, layered so that the taller plants backed the shorter ones. But imagine her surprise when she goes to plant another round just to find a fair number of the small first ones had been trampled and crushed. It was thoroughly disheartening. So she buys some more and plants them only to find them crushed and trampled as well a few days later, and it repeats. She's starting to feel like it's a waste of money to plant anything in this area. And finally, we discover what's happening. We catch the daughter of the people 2 houses down the circle from us with her toddler son in a stroller, pushing him right up to the chain-link fence without any concern about what damage she and the stroller do. Wife: what do you think you're doing in my garden? Entitled mother: my son wants to see the chickens. They gave us permission to see them anytime we want. Wife: great, then go see them. Entitled mother: we are. Wife: not here. Entitled mother: they gave us permission. Wife: then go to their house. Entitled mother: that's too far, and then I have to push him back up the hill from there. He can see them just fine from here. Wife: except that you don't have permission to be here. Entitled mother: they gave me permission. Wife: no, they didn't. They can't give you permission for my property. Don't you see what you're doing to my plants? Entitled mother scoffs: these weeds? Wife: look closer. You've destroyed 5 new little plants that I paid good money for, and not for you to run them over with your stroller. And that's just today. I've had to replant them 5 times now. Entitled mother: I only see weeds. Wife: it doesn't matter what you see. You are not welcome here. You're trespassing on my property. If you want to go see the chickens, go to their house and see the chickens. But stay out of my garden. If I see you here again, I'll have the police explain it to you. And my wife sent her away while she complained the whole way back to the street. And that was the end of it, because entitled people give up on their entitlements just like that, right? You, dear reader, are much too wise to believe that. Of course, we keep finding our plantings destroyed, and we start to see ruts form in the lawn from the frequent crossing of the stroller over it. We catch them sometimes and repel them. They still keep going to see the chickens. From what we can tell, it's at least daily and possibly several times a day. We both work. There are a few windows that see out of the house in that direction. If we see her going down the street in front of our house from the kitchen, we can block her, but she keeps coming back. She always claims to have permission. We always inform her that she does not. She never pays for the damage that she also never acknowledges happened. We talk to the police about it. They give her a stern warning, but it does nothing to deter her and clearly does not scare her. We can't tell if she's just too stoned to care or has some other glitch that blocks her from getting the message. She's relentless. I only wish that motion-activated sprinklers were a thing when this was going on. It would have been a perfect use for them. Finally, one day, she just stops appearing. The ruts start to heal. My wife cautiously plants a few cheap starters and they take. Sometime later, in conversing with the owner of the chickens, we learn that she's serving time. Apparently, she was using a great deal and a variety of illegal substances that have been caught holding enough stuff for them to take it fairly seriously. Her beautiful little boy still lives there. Grandma's raising him now, and they drive down about once a week so he can see the chickens. And he's oh so good with the chicks. Clearly, we never got through the fog in her mind and understanding that she didn't have permission. But we never see her again while we live here. If you find out she gets released, motion-activated sprinkler heads will keep her out. Hopefully. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.